This is called slider. So if I want to drag it to a particular position, how to identify this slider, and we are going to make this move from a particular zero position to somewhere around the slide bar. Okay, so we are doing this manually, but we are going to write a script to handle this by automatic test script. Okay, so
Okay.
as far as everything is same, but the only thing is we are going to use the action class. That's it.
Mm.
We are going to use action class, whatever we saw yesterday. And for sliders, we are going to use the method called the same method, move to element method, as well as we are going to do drag and drop by method. This is the method. Okay, so drag and drop is nothing but we are going to mention only the source and the target from where we are going to place the take the item and where we are going to place it. So source is the element which we are going to drag, and target is the element where we are going to place the source element. Okay, so but here in drag and drop by is nothing but we are going to consider the offset. Offset is nothing but the position. It is like measuring it in the graph, plotting it in a graph. We are going to give the x-axis and the y-axis. For that, we are going to give the source. Source is nothing but where we are going to do that action. So this is your source. So this is your dragger, that is slider. In that, you are going to pull that particular thing from zero position to somewhere. Whatever position you want, you're going to place that in this slider position. So that is what we are going to do. So first, why we are using this move to element is, move to element is nothing but we are going to move from a particular position to another position. Okay, so that is the reason we are using move to element. And drag and drop by is we are going to drag this from here. So we are using two methods here. Instead of using one method, we are going to use the two methods. Mostly move to element will be used in all the methods. In action classes, mostly we will be using it. So we are going to
Mm.
consider it like an user interface. So whatever we do as a user, if I'm going to do it manually, whatever I do, I'm going to convert it into an automated method. And then
Okay.
everything is same. We are going to open the URL, open the browser, and we are going to open this URL. So this is jqueryui.com/slider. This is the URL. In yesterday's document itself, I have already mentioned this URL. You will be having the URL under slider heading. So next thing is, here we need to consider that where this element is available. So for that, normally we used to inspect the element. Okay, so we are going to inspect the element. So, but here what is the problem is this element is placed inside a frame. See, can you see this is placed inside a frame, iframe. If it is inside a frame, what should we do first? We need to switch to that frame first, then only you can perform the action. We have already learned frames separately. In that, what we learned, wherever if there is a frame, so this is a whole website. Inside this part alone is inside a frame. So what we are going to do is, we are going to first switch over to this frame first, then only we are going to access this element. Okay,
Mm.
so by default, see here they have given 0. So we have given the index as 0. This is the way we declare the frame name. Instead of using frame name, you can give the index number also. Here it says as 0. Okay, so you can use this element, or you can just, if they have given the name of the element means, you can give the name. But in this website, there is only one frame. So they have mentioned it as the index position as default as 0. So 0 means it will automatically identify the only frame available inside the website. So
Okay.
either it is a frame name or a frame number, we are going to mention it inside the bracket. This will not change. For everything, we are going to use the same method, driver dot switch to off dot frame off. If it is a name, you will be mentioning the name here. If it is a number, you will be mentioning the number here. That's it. So here now we are inside this frame. So now what we are going to do is we are going to find that slider element. So we are going to go to this slider bar and we are going to inspect the element. So here we have the ID as slider, or if you want you can use XPath also. Both are okay. Okay, this is the ID, but the first step you need to switch over to the frame, then only you should give the XPath of that particular element. You understand this?
Yes.
So here we have switched over to the slider frame, and in the next step identify the locator, of the slider. Okay, so identify the locator of the slider and we are going to place it inside the web element class. So web element slider is equal to driver.find element by of slider. So now after that we are going to give the actions class, and we have created an object as action. So action dot move to element of slider, which is this one. It will move the element from the slider and drag and drop by slider. Again the same name slider. We are going to give the position 100 in x-axis and 0 in y-axis. So right, it is from this position to 100 and still y is not there. So we are going to mention this as a 0. So it is 0. Consider as a 0 line. So we are giving only the x offset. So it automatically moves to the from the basic position to the 100 position. So it is not necessary for you to identify the small box, that is this one. It is not necessary for you to identify this. Only if you identify this slider bar, it is enough. It will automatically move this element, that is move this drag bar from this position to the final position. So we are going to just run this. It moves from 0 to 100 position automatically. Yeah, it is very similar to the other codes. Everything is same because we have only specific methods only. We have these many methods only. Click and hold, content click, double click, drag and drop by move to element. These are the only methods we are going to use for the mouse elements. That is mouse action. So the not much. We should know how to create an action class and how to perform. The method name you need to identify based on the action you are going to do. You will be giving these many actions are available. That is mouse over, mouse right click, drag and drop, slider, and reset. So instead of using two methods, let's check whether it is working with single method like how we did in drag and drop. So we used the direct method called drag and drop and we verified it. Now we are going to just check whether without using move to element whether it is working, because drag and drop by actually will do this action. It should do the action because we are giving the slider element and we are giving the offset value for x and as well as for the y. So it should perform. See, it is also performing. Without move to element also it is performing. Okay, so both are correct, but this is like a step-by-step procedure. It is like move to element, then we are using the drag and drop, like how we do. We are moving the element and drag and drop by both are same only, but we are performing like a step-by-step operation here. Here we are directly performing the operation. So both we can either for this build off is compulsory, for this build off is not mandatory, but anyway as a standard we are going to use build up for all the steps. Okay, let's keep it as a standard like better use build of for all the methods. Whether it is mandatory or optional, we will use the build of method. Okay. So let's have it like a syntax. Your method name dot build of dot perform of. You're going to write in that format.